What do you wish you knew about in-house counsel and the responsibilities when you were working outside counsel? And what should in-house counsel understand about outside e-discovery counsel as well?
I guess one of the things I would say that surprised me is I never appreciated the hoops inside counsel had to go through to get data or to track down where the information might actually live. When I was at a large law firm and we would have calls with our clients, I was surprised how the attorneys didn't know where the data was, or we'd have a call, they didn't know who to go to or where to get it. Now that I'm on the other side of that, I see why that is, right? That the data mapping isn't necessarily there. There's turnover at the company. So maybe somebody knew before, but now there's somebody new and they don't know where to go to get the information. So that's
Mhm.
been a real surprise and something I didn't fully appreciate. And I think that maybe when you are outside counsel, maybe you don't fully appreciate it either. I also think I didn't always appreciate why it took so long sometimes to get answers to questions. But again, now that I'm in house and I see how many hoops you have to jump through to get answers sometimes, I see why things can take a long time. I think one of the things that maybe in-house counsel doesn't always keep in mind is the timelines. There are scheduling orders. There is a reason usually when outside counsel is asking for something to be done on a rush basis. And I think in-house counsel can sometimes be frustrated by those rush requests. But I think as long as there's open communication about why you need something, when you need it, that it just makes everyone's life easier. The other thing I would say is that if the outside counsel has an e-discovery attorney, that you should really work closely with them to understand the data. When I was at a firm, I was going through the data. I knew the client's data inside and out. Now that I'm in-house, I don't necessarily review the documents, right? So I don't
Mhm.
really know exactly what's in there or what type of data we frequently collect and or produce. And so I feel like you could really work with your e-discovery attorneys that are on outside counsel. That they could really work with you and help you. When I was at Wilmer, I made sure that I trained any associates, counsel, anyone who was at the firm to make sure they understood what e-discovery was, how you do it, what you should be thinking of. I would train them on how to log into a database, how to look at the documents, how to code the documents. Any question they had, I was happy to answer. And I feel like it made for a more efficient process when it came time to actually do collections, productions. They understood the data. They could do their own searches in the database. I was obviously there to support them and do whatever I could, but I was just trying to get them to take a little bit of ownership of certain tasks. And I do think that with outside counsel, it would be great. I don't know if a lot of our outside counsel, right? Some of them have e-discovery attorneys, some don't. But I think everybody could really work on trying to educate all of the attorneys about e-discovery, why it's important that you code a document completely, why you put together searches for documents and then submit those for just little things, right? That I think when you're on the back end, you think about it. But when e-discovery is on your main focus, maybe you don't think about it, but it can really be helpful. When we had a case come in, I would generally have kind of a eDiscovery 101, if you will, with the case team about what my expectations were, how the process should work. And you do, especially at a firm, I think you get a lot of that. Well, I've always done it this way and it's never been a problem. But I think what you need sometimes is someone to push back and say, okay, I understand that, but that's not the most efficient way to do it. Or there's a better way to do it. This is how we should do it. We really need a process. Let's be more uniform in our approach. And I think if you do that, people will buy into it. They also think that clients see it and they appreciate it. Whenever we had first year associates who were hired, when they came in, they had a firm wide training about everything. And eDiscovery was part of that. And I was usually on the panel to present a little bit about eDiscovery and kind of what it is. People don't understand how important it is to think about eDiscovery at the outset of a matter, right? You should really be thinking about everything you might need for a case. Whether or not you need it, put that aside, but just think about everything you might potentially need. And then loop in the eDiscovery people as soon as you can, because they're really there to help you with that. And I think a lot of people who are newer, especially at firms, they don't always think about that. They might think of eDiscovery as, well, you're not the partner, you're not the lead attorney or whatever it is. eDiscovery is just so important in all of our matters now that it really is better if you can loop the people in early. The other thing I would say is it seems like such a simple thing, but I don't think that all attorneys fully appreciate how important the coding is, right? Because you're creating a work product. You are documenting why you did something. It's there. It will be there forever if you're arming the matter, whatever it is. But you want to be able to know why you did something. And if you don't code the documents completely, then it leaves a lot of question about, well, why didn't this get produced? I don't know.